Hi, I'm Daya Ore, one of the founding authors of Empowering Writers. And joining me today is,
Jennifer Seaton, Director of Learning and Development.
and we know what the number one challenge is for teachers when implementing the curriculum. It's using all of the resources together while following their district's designated scope and sequence. The good news is we can provide the solution for you. I'm going to open up one of the customized guides that we've created for Point Isabel. And before we jump into the guide and look at the customization that we can provide, I want to just show you the ease of use that we have created for teachers. When they first come into the guide, there's a planning guide section. And in this planning guide section, they're going to find several things. First of all, there's always going to be some planning coaches that you can click on this video that are going to give them an idea of what to expect and how to set up the resource. Down below, you're going to notice we have the professional development video list. And what that really is that's an opportunity for teachers to see at a quick glance all of the professional development that's available within the content of the book. For example, if teachers are going to go ahead and teach something about generative verse responsive writing, they can see there's a teacher background video here. They can go to the correct unit for that, and they can watch that prior to implementing any instruction on that topic. We also have done the same type of PDF for direct-to-student content. So any content that we've created that is intended for students to watch, you can actually see a whole listing here. And not only do you see what we offer, but you can see what lessons you can find it in and what sections of the guide. And then as you continue to look down the list, we have a table of contents of all the sections that tell the teachers everything that's coming up within the content of each section. And you can see we've even included a key for digital components that are part of it, as well as a little timing piece that helps teachers in their planning and pacing. How long will this lesson take? If it's a building block lesson, it's going to take 30 to 40 minutes, or if it's a brushstroke, it could take 15 to 20 minutes. We have narrative and rubrics and anchor sets that are available for teachers to use, as well as the TEKS alignment for all genres. And then within this whole planning section, we provide key instructional must-sees. And these are the pieces of the guide that we really want teachers to know is available to them. So what do? We put it right up front so they know exactly what they have and how this resource is really going to aid in their instruction throughout the year. And then in addition to that, we have navigational must-sees. And that basically tells teachers how to move through the guide. So how do you navigate this hub? How do you use those virtual field trips? Within the guide, there are several embedded PowerPoints that help aid in the instruction of the lessons, and teachers can see how to access that as well. So that's the planning guide section of the guide. And again, our whole thought process behind this is how do we make this as easy as possible for teachers to use? Now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to turn it over to Jennifer. And the whole idea behind this really is how do we customize guides for districts so that teachers can get the most out of the resources that they have?
So as we began to put together the customized guides, our goal was really to bring all of our resources together to help teachers best succeed with their new standards, their new ELAR programs, any initiative that's come their way. This just helps them to consolidate it all into one resource in the way in which they choose. You notice that this particular one is organized by 6 weeks. You can see that over underneath the curriculum overview. Each 6 weeks is listed twice because the first 6 weeks denotes the genre lessons, and then the first 6 weeks has the editing and revising lessons embedded inside of them. Let's look inside the first 6 weeks. Point Isabel opted to place in some baseline prompts. You'll see that at the very top. So anytime they want to take an assessment, starting with that assessment that's given at the beginning of the year as a baseline, we've collected those and put those to match the genre that's coming ahead. You will also notice down below that each 6 weeks places the table of contents in it again. And also the planning coaches will pop in during each 6 weeks just so that they can set up the instruction for that section and also tell about some of the student pitfalls. Let's look inside one of the lessons. introducing graphic organizers. Just like our other digital resources, we have all of the components for the lesson here in one place. So we start off with the objective. Any professional development resource for the teacher is right up front, along with the same material that you find in the printed guides. However, over to the right, you can see that we have the student resource pages, we have the skill powers, animated video lessons, any lesson that has a virtual field trip, those will be placed here, and then on down to have any images or any other related student materials. This is nice for teachers because they don't have to look for the components that go along with the lesson, and we have explained exactly where to use each of those components. The same holds true in the editing and revising lessons. As a sample, you can see here in the first 6 weeks, all of the editing and revising student pages are here at the top. So if you want to assign the full resource to the students digitally, you can do that, or these can be printed one by one. The other option with these is just to display them for students by projecting them on the board. Again, inside lesson 1, very similar to the way we saw the lesson laid out with the genre lesson. You have your teacher background up top, the lesson below, and any direct to student resources on the right-hand side of the screen.
This is an example and way in which we have customized this resource for one district in particular. But we're going to back out and take a look at another example. We're going to take a look at the grade 4 writing companion. And districts, again, have had some other requests on ways in which to organize the guide. In this particular guide, you'll notice I just clicked on it. Where did I end up? Right back in the planning guide, same type of planning guide that we saw earlier. Jennifer, you want to talk a little bit about how this particular guide, this particular customization is different based on the needs of this client?
In this customization, what we've done is align with TRS's Year at a Glance and Instructional Focus document. So differently from what you saw before, underneath the curriculum overview, these unit titles will be familiar because they are the unit titles within TRS. So as we've worked together with these district partners, we've made decisions on how to embed the Empowering Writers lessons, both genre and editing and revising, into each of those TRS units. Notice underneath the planning guide video, we have unit connections. The unit connections are created to simply show teachers how the lessons relate to the demands or the objectives of each of those TRS units. We want them to be fluid in using other resources in addition to Empowering Writers to meet those needs and to feel comfortable that the lessons that we provide support those.
You can see we have a couple of different ways in which we customize. I'm sure that our customization is only limited by our imagination. So depending upon what your needs are, what resources you have, and how we can best support your implementation of Empowering Your Writers along with your scope and sequence, I'm sure we can help. Please feel free to reach out to us at empoweringwriters.com.